This is the Jackery Explorer 1000 Plus. This is one of the most portable, one of the most powerful, one of the sexiest units Jackery has probably ever released. It's extremely popular. This is actually my personal unit. I chose to spend my hard-earned money on this guy right here. I have tons of hands-on experience with it, but when it comes to price, this thing has a little bit of room for improvement. So I chose to buy it, but the real question today is, should you? What's up guys, it's Robbie. Welcome back to the lab. Today, like I said, we're taking a look at the Jackery 1000 Plus, which means yes, it is one of the first little Jackery units with this full redesign going on, which is honestly like much needed. I think Jackery has always been kind of a staple, but they always kind of looked just like this much ugly. Even unit aside, choosing a Jackery generator actually has a ton of pros. The panels are amazing. The app is actually really good. But before we get too into it, let's start with a quick 60-second teardown. If at any point you guys think, hey, say no more, I'm sold, we do have some links down below. This video is not sponsored. Go ahead and scoop this unit from Jackery, Amazon, shopsolar.com, whatever you feel most comfortable. We do earn a small commission if you guys use the links down below, but it does not cost you guys any more, and it is the #1 way to support our channel. So in the Tiny Baby lift test, this thing smashed. Not only could the Tiny Baby lift it, he could curl this thing, dude. It only weighs 32 pounds. This is a 1,264.64 watt-hour battery bank. I don't know who approved that to be the battery size for this thing, but that's what we're working with. It also has a 2,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, which is really impressive. That just means that you could power 100 watts of lights for 10 hours, or you could microwave your lasagna for 2 whole hours. In terms of charging, pretty standard. You have the AC and the DC inlets. You can actually charge this thing via the wall outlet in your house in about 1.7 hours, which is pretty impressive. And it has an 800 watt max on the solar panel input. In terms of outlets, we're working with 2 USB-A's, got 2 USB-C's, and then you have 3 of just the 110 house plugs on the front, as well as a little 12 volt outlet on the front. Super simple. There's no fancy EV or 30 amp charging with this, but typically on the smaller units like this, you don't get those features. This unit also supports up to 3 expansion batteries, hence the name Plus. You can get this guy up to 5 kilowatts of total capacity. The screen on these guys is a screen. It's not fancy, it doesn't suck, shows you only what you need to know, and it looks medium. Before we actually take a deeper look at this thing, one of my favorite things about Jackery is their foldable panels. This is actually Jackery's Solarsaga 100. These are a 100 watt panel with an 18 volt input. Something that's like actually pretty annoying with these is that they come with this really dumb connection. Most panels, like if you were to take one of these panels off the wall, or if you just have solar on your house or anything, they usually have a different connector. So if you buy a Jackery and you already have panels, you're gonna need to buy an adapter that goes from this to MC4. But that point aside, the panel makes up for being annoying in this aspect by being really sick. If you're doing some off-grid camping, that kind of thing, this panel is this big, folded up, okay? It's very small, it's very minimal, and it actually just magnets open and close. That's it, there's nothing to it. It's very easy. It's got extendable legs on the back. So you just open that. It's got like a little bungee cord here, and then you kind of just put them down and you're done. Obviously you want to do it like this. And that's your 100 watts of solar. And that is the coolest part. EcoFlow's panels and a lot of the cheaper panel options offer something much bigger than this just to get 100 watts. This is a really, really good bang for your buck panel. One of my favorite features about this, back in this little pouch again, is that there's actually a USB-C and a USB-A port built directly into this panel, which means someone says, hey, I want to charge my phone. You can just give them this panel, say, go put this in the sun and plug your phone directly into it. What I'm trying to say is it's a pretty sick panel to go along with the unit. And if you're considering Jackery, buy the Jackery panels. And they're really efficient. I have 2 of these 100 watt panels, and if I just throw them out in the sun and put absolutely no effort into where they're placed, I get immediately 180 watts of solar, which is amazing. The light kind of gives away who a unit is for. I feel like a light on the front with a nice little handle. This is meant to be carried around. It's portable, it's not that heavy. The 1200 watt hour battery is actually really good for running a lot of stuff when you're camping. This is a pretty bougie unit to take camping. Personally, I plug it in to my IceCo VL45. This is again, these are really medium-sized things. This is like a pretty good sized fridge. It's big enough that you can put a lot of stuff in it, but it's almost threw it right off the table. It's not massive. And this thing draws about 45 watts when it's plugged into the Jackery. So this is a pretty efficient fridge. It doesn't come on a whole lot. It stays pretty cold. IceCo does a really good job. If you guys are looking for a fridge, we'll also leave a link down below if you want to just check out IceCo's website. It's also big enough though that if you're camping and you want to run your fridge and you go for like the normal Friday night, Saturday, leave Sunday midday, you can run your fridge the whole time. You can power your phone. You can run like a little fan up in your tent if that's something you're into. You can pretty much abuse this thing if you're just using it for a weekend, and it'll last. I also like it because it's big enough that if you leave it charged when you have a power outage, sure, it's not home backup, but it's emergency backup. Like you can plug a fridge into this, you can plug your coffee maker into this. If you're working from home and the power went out like midday, you can plug your router or your computer into this, and you can get a pretty good lifespan out of those things. I also really just like that this has a handle. A lot of units are kind of ugly, like the Delta Maxes just have these handles on the side. Even the older Jackery's design was like okay. This is nice because you put it down, handle folds away. That's where you would stack a battery, which is why they put the foldable handle so you can put your additional battery on top. You can just pick this thing up, and like I said, it weighs nothing. Tiny baby can curl this thing. I mean, he's jacked, but you get the point. It weighs nothing, it's super versatile. It's a little bigger than I actually wish it was. What I mean by that is if you look at this thing next to a Delta Max. Delta Max is a 2000 watt hour unit with a 2400 watt inverter. And this is the Anker F2600, which has a 2600 watt hour battery with a 2400 watt inverter. But it's not that much smaller considering it's only 1200 watt hours. And these two are almost 1000, if not more than 1000 watt hours more than the Jackery. Honestly, I think there's a lot of air here because if you look at like the Pro or just like the older versions, they were kind of slimmer at the top. I think this is thick so you can put a battery on top. They just look kind of like every other expansion battery. A blob on your unit. Something that is cool is the blobs on the unit go on top here, whereas in a Blue Eddy, you would have the battery and then the Blue Eddy on top. So then if you want to add another battery, you have to put the Blue Eddy off and then put a battery and then put the Blue Eddy back on. Dude, it's not shoulder day. It's fucking to get your batteries installed day. If you want to put a battery on, you should be able to just plunk. And then if you want to put another one on, you just plunk and then you're done. Otherwise, there's really nothing about this unit that I don't like. I really like the light. I've actually found this very useful, just taking this out of the back of my Jeep, walking it over to a tent, being able to use it to inflate an air mattress and then dragging it back to my Jeep without having to also have my phone going. I guess we should also talk apps. The Jackery app is actually really good and simple, and it lets you do a lot of things from your phone that you don't have the availability to do right here on the unit. For example, this thing fast charges. When you plug it into the wall, it charges in about an hour and a half, but you could also turn on quiet charging if you want it to draw less from your house, if it's just being super annoying. There's also battery settings. You could have a battery saver mode on. You can mess with the screen delay, and honestly, the app is just extremely responsive. Like if I press the light, you see the second I'm pressing it, the light is probably, hopefully for the sake of this video, coming on and off immediately because the app is extremely responsive. And it's just simple. It shows you what's going in, what's going out, nothing more, nothing less. The handle has a really nice little rubber grip under there. When you grab it, it makes that feeling just a little bit of a higher quality. What you're looking at right here costs $1,200. That's honestly, the price is like right on that line where I kind of just wish it was like maybe $1,000. It's only $100 more than the Pro, which at that point makes it a really good deal because the Pro is only a 1000 watt hour battery. So you get, for $100, you get 200 more watt hours of battery and you get double the size of the inverter. The Pro, is it the Pro? I've been saying Pro, but what I really mean is 1000. Just the Jackery 1000 has a 1000 watt inverter. Don't even look at it. If you're looking at the 1000, just close the tab, leave the page, close the door, walk away. Plus. You want the Plus. Now, once we start comparing this to other units on the market, you compare it to something like the EcoFlow Delta. It's old. I mean, this has been around for a while, but it's $800. Battery's the same size on this guy. The inverter is 1800 watts, so like 200 off, not a huge deal. But even though this is like a cheaper unit, I don't like EcoFlow's foldable panels as much. This has no light. It's definitely ugly, but honestly, for the price, this thing puts up a really good fight. You could also compare it to the Anker C100X, which is $900, which again has a very similar capacity and output. Does have a light on it. It does have the awkward handles still. So look, is this the right unit for you? I don't know. I personally chose to spend the extra money to buy this unit because I really liked it. I really like the panels. I really like the look of this thing. I really like the functionality, the handle, the weight. A lot about this I like, but there is cheaper and really competitive options out there on the market. So at the end of the day, the choice is yours. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment if you guys would spend the money on this, if you guys think this is an absolute ripoff, or if there's just another unit that we failed to mention that you think stacks up against this one. But that's all we got for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed and turn on the little notification bell so you don't miss when we post our next video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace out and stay charged.